Hello everybody, welcome back to doing all the quests on an Ironman. I haven't even deposited my inventory from the last quest that I've done, but this is fine. Today what we're gonna be doing is a Rag and Bone Man, which is this weird individual right over here. Can I help you with something? Well, who are you? What are all these bones doing here? Mumble mumble. I'm an archaeologist. I work with the museum. An archaeologist? Yes. Well, that explains the bones. Sort of. But what are you doing all the way out here? Mumble mumble. Mumble mumble. I'm collecting bones for the museum. They have asked me to rig up some displays of second and third age creatures using their bones so that people can come and look at them. I need to get them into sort of order before I begin, but I've run into a bit of a snag. What sort of snag? Well, I need to have the bones I'm going to use here and placed into a sort of order. However, I seem to have discovered I'm a few short. Anything I can do to help? Mumble mumble. There is something you could do for me. I'm going to be busy, mumble. Sorting. Yes, sorting these bones out really for the museum, but I need a few more. Will you help me out by grabbing some? Yes. Start Rag and Bone Man 1. You will? Excellent! Snicker. Where do you need me to dig? Dig? Mumble mumble. Oh, you must have got the wrong end of the stick. I need some fresh whole bones to replace ones that have become damaged. What? Mumble 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 mumble. Excuse me? Shh. Sorry. Mumble mumble, mumble mumble mumble. I love the fact that his sack is talking. This is like such an incredibly weird encounter. Okay, got it. Okay, here's the thing. While sorting out what bones I do have, I managed to lose or damage a few. If you can get me some fresh unbroken bones to use as replacements, then I can get on with things. That makes things clearer? Well, it makes some sense, I suppose. Great! If you can get me a bone from a goblin, a bear, a big frog, a ram, a unicorn, a monkey, a giant rat, and a giant bat, then I'll be able to move on with the displays. So you just want me to bring you these bones and that will be that. Well, I wouldn't mind you sticking them in a pot and boiling them in vinegar first, if you don't mind. There is a wine merchant and drainer called Fortunato that sells the stuff you'll need. You can even use my pot boiler if you want. Why do I need to boil them in vinegar? It gets them bright and sparkling white. It's an archaeologist thing. Just put the bone in a pot of vinegar, throw some logs on the fire, put the pot in the holder and light the logs. It takes a while for the vinegar to evaporate, but the bone will be nice and clean in the end. Alright, I'll be back later. Bye! So, we met a wildly weird man, and we're like, yep, this is entirely normal. We're just gonna help you. And now, mind you, I would love to be able to have a better shot of the man, but he lives in a place where you can't angle yourself downwards because this is like a mountainous area, so the camera view is blocked and I can't move it any further and I hate it because this is such a weird man. First, we're gonna try and locate all the bones without actually resorting to looking all the bones up, because I'm pretty sure that some of these gonna be easier. I might need to look up giant bat and giant rat because I honestly forgot where they exist. Giant rat? Giant frog, I mean. Or I never encountered them to begin with. So we're gonna look at where our bone journey takes us. And then we'll have to get pot, vinegar, lighter, logs. Yeah. Anyway. Time to go. Okay, welcome to Lumbridge / my own bank. I saw giant rats when I teleported here, but I teleported here because I remember quite exclusively goblins and unicorns. Well, quite specifically, both roam around here. Monkeys, I assume Karamja. We know how to get to Karamja. Bears, I'm gonna assume the part above Falador, towards the rune crafting altar. For some reason I remember a bear there. Frogs, potentially the swamp near Lumbridge, which is once again why I'm currently in Lumbridge, because I have a feeling that a lot of bones that I actually need are just gonna be for me to find here. Yeah, there we go, that's the giant rats. And if I was to head that way, I assume I'm gonna run into goblins, and I'm gonna assume I'm gonna run into unicorns, yeah. Rams should be somewhere around here too. Giant rat bone, yes! And then I can bury this one. So, one bone secured. See? They're small. That's a big frog. That's a giant frog. Told you! Told you that there's frogs in the swamp. I'm also seeing a goblin in the swamp. Which means that all I need to do is run around here, and I can also get a frog and a goblin. And I remember there being a unicorn somewhere around here. I'm so happy that the giant frogs aren't like in some sort of place, like a gap to fall into. A dungeon, that's what they're called. They aren't in some sort of dungeon. They're just directly out and about. Because that means that they're gonna be very, very easy to just, you know, grab a bone off. So that's Goblin's skull. That's bones. We're gonna bury that, and we're gonna lower the Goblin's skull down. I need a giant frog, and that is a giant frog. So I'm about to take a giant frog out, and that's gonna be another bone. I don't remember if giant bats are on the list. I think that they are. I think that giant bats are on the list. I don't quite know where a giant bat might be. But I'm gonna think about that later. First, the next point after this one will be finding a unicorn, which I swear is just around here somewhere. I'm convinced that if I run around this area for enough, I'm gonna find it. Is that not what I needed? Big frog leg. So not giant frog, but that's a frog. That's a big frog. There we go. That's the correct frog. It's the smaller frog. Hopefully you have some legs on you. Yes, it had some legs on it. Cool. So I'm gonna drop that down. And it's time to run around like crazy looking for a unicorn. So see you in a second when hopefully I locate one. That second went way too fast. I literally took 5 steps back towards the fence, and there is the unicorn. I'm not crazy. There was literally a unicorn in here. I have seen it before. And here it is. So let's kill the unicorn. And then figure out what we have left. I might end up needing to actually look up big bats. Because I swear they're probably gonna be in a dungeon somewhere. I have looked into some dungeons, but normally the amount of different things that are in dungeons is quite high. Unicorn horn! And unicorn bone. We need the unicorn bone, right? Not the unicorn horn. The unicorn horn tends to be an ingredient for something, so I should probably hold on to it. I will need to level my herb lore at some point. And that is a potion ingredient, so I may as well have it. I don't know where I'm walking right now. Let's double check. Giant rat done. Unicorn done. Frog done. Goblin done. So bear, ram, monkey, bat. Now, we're very close to a whole bunch of farms. There's bound to be rams around sheep farms, right? So I would say second point would be to locate a ram. As that shouldn't be that hard. Like, there's shares, which means that there's sheep in here. Ah, found my ram! I have found my ram. That is indeed a very easy one to find around here. I'm just thinking about where a giant bat might be. Because, like, I don't know. I don't remember giant bats at all. Take bones, take ram skull. Ram is done now. So, now I want to check if I am correct that this area over here has a bear. So let's make that the next thing that we do. Hopefully I'm gonna see you at a bear. Okay, that is very clearly bear-shaped. So hopefully a black bear counts as a bear. If I need to find something that just says bear, then I might be in trouble. So hopefully not. Hopefully a black bear is also a bear. Logic dictates that it should be. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that you're a bear. Are you a bear? Yes! That is definitely a bear. I have been thinking that if I think that giant bats are only available in dungeons, that is the Taverley dungeon, and I'm like practically there because I was just hunting for a bear here. So we may as well have a run through to see if there's any giant bats there. If I secure a giant bat, then securing a monkey should be a piss take, because the Karamja has monkeys, right? Karamja has to have monkeys. Ah, druids! Just living their little peaceful lives. I feel like I should visit this place more often because herblore. I think one of them like sells herblore materials. And I do need to get my herblore up, but currently I'm just like really focusing on fighting because I need those fighting levels. Oh boy. I appreciate the giant tags. Hopefully not everything is tagged, because I don't see any giant bats. So let's just try and go for a walk. This place scares the shit out of me. I don't feel equipped to be here. Even though I was already here once for a quest. So I'm hugging the part that seems to be easier. I have... Ooh! That is a bat. That is a bat. That was not tagged anywhere, but that is a bat. So... We can take down the bat. I was correct. Probably there isn't any surface bats. There's probably all dungeon bats. Somebody must be farming in here. Because if there's just like free to take bones and loot over there, that feels like a big trap. Hopefully we're gonna get the bone that we need. And then we're just gonna calmly walk out of here. Without interacting with anything else. Because at least half of this dungeon is filled with things that I don't like the sound of or appearance of. Like hellhounds and dragons and other things that hit hard. I don't like hit hard because hit hard hurt me. Right, giant bat wing has been secured, and I don't need to fight another bat. So excuse me, lads. Would you kindly? I'm passing through. If you're wondering how was I killing druids without ever realizing that there's bats, I was killing druids not here. I was actually killing druids in Edgeville. To train my archery, because I was like, where's druids? And then they looked it up because I am allowed to do that. I'm just trying to complete all quests on an Ironman. I looked it up, and there were some druids over here in like the Edgeville dungeon, and I thought this is kind of close to a bank, so this is kind of convenient. Now, mind you. They're positioned past the PvP range, so you're vulnerable and other players can attack you. But there's normally nobody there, so I felt pretty safe. So, what else do we need? Skull got, ribs got, frog leg got, ram skull got, unicorn bone got. We need monkey paw and monkey paw only. So let's go to the port and take a nice ride all the way to Port Sarim, and hopefully that will solve our last bone problem. I found my ride to Karamja. Yes, please take me to Karamja. At some point I will take off the glasses that I got in the previous quest, I swear. I forgot that they're on my head. So, we're looking for a monkey. This is a place with a banana plantation. This is a very warm climate island. One would assume that it would mayhaps have a monkey or two. Or three. Ah! Monkey! One hath assumed correct. That is indeed a monkey. And that is a monkey paw. So all the bones are done. I'm gonna now go to Drainer Village merchant that sells wine. I think we need wine. And I'm gonna pick up 8 wines because we have 8 bones. And then I'm gonna take out a pickaxe. And I'm gonna chop down 8 trees for 8 sets of logs. And then I'm gonna get a matchbox, and then we can walk back. So, this is the wine merchant. I wonder if he just can sell us vinegar? Yeah, there we go. Have you got any vinegar? Vinegar? Vinegar! The very idea. My wines are the finest in the district. Sorry, I was told to come and speak with a wine merchant about getting some vinegar. I must have the wrong person. Wait, did he send you? If by he you mean the old man with the sack of bones, then yes. Say no more, friend. I have some especially. 500 jugs of vinegar. I feel like I need 8. I have that feeling because I have 8 bones. So now I have 8 jugs of vinegar. And I'm gonna need 8 logs and a match to light them. And I'm hoping that I will be able to reuse the pot. So, time to acquire some bones and logs. Good thing that I didn't just buy his wine, because that would have been the entirely wrong thing. You know what, while I'm passing through Verak, just in case, I do need all of the separate pots, how about I'm just gonna buy some pots, and I'm gonna stick the bones into them. Plus, it makes for like such a satisfying little bony picture. Let's buy a couple more. Let's put all the vinegar into all the pots, and then put all the bones into all the pots. Need 2 more pots. Thankfully, this guy has an infinite supply of pots that restocks the moment I close the store. Otherwise it would be bad. That's all the vinegar and all the pots and all the bones inside all the pots. Look at how pretty this is. There we go. Now I don't need to carry all those jugs. I just carry pre-made pots of bones and vinegar all the way to Rag and Bone Man, where we're gonna boil them. There we go, guys. We're approaching our prime boiling location. I assume logs go on pot boiler, yeah? And then tinderbox, no? And then you place this here. And then tinderbox? Yeah! And then you wait. For some amount of time. This smells so very, very bad. Yeah, I would imagine it does. So, first boiled. Now I just need to repeat the process for every single bone. That is quite a lot of bone. Quite a lot of... I'm just gonna cut where I have done this. Shouldn't take me that long, but still, I would just be sitting around here staring at bone. Oil? All bones have been boiled. I have some bones for you. Great, let me take a look at them. That's the last of them. The museum will be thrilled to know I've completed the collection. Well, I'm just glad that I could help. Mumble, mumble. Well, you've been a big help, and no mistake. I'm always on the lookout for fresh bones, so if you see some, bring them right over. No problem. I'll be sure to bring anything you might like over if I find something. I can't wait to see the displays once they're finished. There's probably never actually gonna be a display, but that is Rag and Bone Man 1 done. If you look at Rag and Bone Man 2, it for some reason unlocks automatically. But if you look at the requirements for Rag and Bone Man 2, you're gonna see there's several quests that we haven't done in level 40 Slayer, because Rag and Bone Man 2 is no joke. Also, my husband brought me food when I was closing this out. I like that this quest was easy. I'm obviously not gonna do a Rag and Bone Man part 2 for a while, because we haven't done even the quests that we would need to do the full part 2. So that's like entirely is gonna be put away at the back of our mind. It was nice. It was very nice. The majority of the bones that he needed was like right around Lumbridge. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, thank you for watching. My stalling for time so that I have some months to train all of my combat skills up continues. So I hope that I'm gonna see you next Friday for some other quest that's either like easy or entirely not requiring any combat skills. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for my Patreon supporters. And hopefully I'm gonna see you next Friday. Toodaloo!